Coming up, a suitcase carrying the story of a tragic event, but also promoting tolerance and peace. Reed tells us about Hannah's suitcase.
Have you ever been called a mean name? Have you ever been laughed at? Have you ever been told that you can't be friends with someone? Has this ever happened because of the color of your skin, where you live, or what you believe in? Hi, I'm Reed Cohen, and I'm going to talk about an important story called Hannah's Suitcase. About a young girl and boy, Hannah and George Brady, a sister and brother who lived in Czechoslovakia. When George and Hannah were growing up, they were part of a very close family. They owned a family store, and during their spare time, they played together, go skiing, have family picnics, and go ice skating. But their life soon changed when the Nazis invaded in 1939. When the Nazis invaded Nové Město na Moravě, the town they lived in, the Bradys had to live by different rules. They were not allowed to shop in certain stores, eat in certain restaurants, or go to town theaters or parks. In 1940, George and Hannah were no longer allowed to attend school. The next year, their mother, Marketa, was arrested by the Gestapo for sending money to her brother who had escaped a Nazi concentration camp. A few months later, their father, Karel, was arrested too because a man in their town refused to put on his Star of David and was immediately reported to the Nazis. The Nazis then arrested every adult Jewish man in Nové Město na Moravě. Without a mother or father, George and Hannah went to stay with their Uncle Ludwig and Aunt Hedda. They stayed with them for about 7 months, but in 1942, George and Hannah were ordered to go to a concentration camp called Terezin. In 1944, George was transported to Auschwitz, a death camp. Hannah was sent to Auschwitz a month later and was killed immediately in a gas chamber the day she arrived. She was 13 years old. Just before the Nazis lost the war, they tried to hide evidence of the concentration and death camps by marching their prisoners towards the center of Germany. This is when George was able to escape. He was 17 years old. About 55 years later, Fumiko Ishioka, the director of the Tokyo Holocaust Education Resource Center, asked the Auschwitz Museum for some objects that belonged to children during the Holocaust. She received a suitcase which had a name on it, Hannah Brady. Throughout her travels and research trying to find out about Hannah, she discovered that Hannah died in Auschwitz, but she had a brother, George Brady, who survived and now lives in Toronto, Canada. Fumiko visited George in Canada, and Hannah's story was born. After Fumiko discovered Hannah's story, it inspired a Canadian woman named Karen Levine to make an award-winning radio documentary, which led her to writing a book called Hannah's Suitcase. Hannah's Suitcase is available in 40 languages and in 20 countries. The book has also taught children all over the world about the dangers of discrimination and hatred. George, George's daughter Lara, and Fumiko travel around the world to tell Hannah's story. In 2008, George Brady received the Order of Ontario because he's honoring Hannah's life and is sharing her story around the globe. Thanks to 3 amazing Canadians, George Brady, Lara Brady, Karen Levine, Canadians as well as people around the world now get a chance to tell Hannah's story. I think that if we come together to continue the work, we can share the message of tolerance and peace. Please continue to tell Hannah's story because I believe there's hope to end discrimination. Do you?
I'm here with Reed, who will answer some questions about his film. Reed, what did you learn about filmmaking?
Well, when I was filming my film, I learned that you can't just take your tapes in one shot. Mm-hmm. You have to take multiple angles, and music really spices it up. Mm-hmm.
Why did you pick your topic?
I chose the topic Hannah's Suitcase because I think it is important to remember Hannah because she had a wonderful life, a wonderful family, but then when the Nazis invaded, she had to live by all these rules, and then she was killed. So she couldn't grow up to pursue her dream of being a teacher.
Thanks, Reed. We'll be back after this.